Hey students, welcome to episode 57 of the Film Student Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Lazzeroni. My guest this week is Morgan Nadauld from the new Violet Cohort. We talk about her background in theater, her and her sister's SNL goals, and we talk about nice roasting the Violet Cohort. Yeah, that's a thing. On with the show.
I've kind of been admiring everything about Second City since forever. I've been watching SNL. I can't even remember a time I wasn't watching SNL.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a lot of research about who was on SNL and where they came from, and pretty much everybody came from Second City.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel like it was a good enough reason to move here just to go and do all the improv classes.
Mm.
So when this came up, I was just sort of stalking their website like I do, and saw that there was a film school.
How do you stalk a website? That's what I want to
just check up on it every once to see if anything's changed, and usually nothing does, but
okay.
Then it did.
I think that's just reading a website, not necessarily stalking. Stalking just puts this dirty little spin on it.
You're right. I shouldn't say stalking, right? It was just a regular old checkup.
Fair enough.
But yeah, and this was interesting, and I mean, I've been making videos with my sister mostly for a while, so.
Was it a while, since you were kids, or?
Yeah, since we were kids. I mean, we would, in school, they would always give us options for, projects we could do on, books that we read and stuff, and we always chose to make the video about it.
Yeah. I feel like that's a common thing with, the younger generation in general, just because you have access to the tools to do that kind of stuff. I didn't get to do that stuff. I tried to do other creative things, but yeah.
YouTube was very new when we were young. But it was all we did.
Yeah.
And so we posted YouTube videos just all the time, and it was just it was just fun.
What kind of stuff, were you making your own sketches, or was it just kind of?
My sister was mostly writing them.
Okay.
And I was acting in them. That's kind of been our thing, for our whole lives. So she moved here with me to Chicago when I got into this program.
Okay.
And that's kind of been our thing. I mean, I'm learning to write too since I've been here, and but mostly she's been the writer. She has her bachelor's in journalism.
Okay.
So she was working in a newspaper in Washington for a long time, and quit and moved here with me. She's amazing.
That's a big move.
I know.
So, what is she doing? Anything here, taking classes, or she just got a job here?
Nope. She's walking dogs.
Okay.
And kind of just getting work wherever she can. She's kind of freelancing still with a little bit of writing.
Mm-hmm.
She worked for a company in Idaho, and she did a lot of interviews with authors, and I can't think of any names right now, but some pretty notable authors.
Mm-hmm.
So she has experience writing, and she's really incredible at it.
Yeah.
I mean, award-winning. So.
Older or younger sister?
Older.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I feel like that follows the typical family dynamic. The youngest one is usually the one that's the on stage.
Actually, yeah, I actually have a younger brother.
Oh, okay.
But he's very charismatic.
Yeah.
Right now, he is guiding rafts on the Grand Canyon. He's the coolest guy ever. And he's also very funny. And he did a little bit of theater when he was younger too, but he's more of the outdoorsman.
So you did theater. What's what kind of theater stuff? Just community, high school?
I did it all through high school, and after high school, my drama teacher is involved in this theater. She's on the board, and there's 10 of them, and they run this amazing theater in my little conservative town.
Mm-hmm.
And they're some of the most incredible people that have ever lived.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pretty much did anything I could in that theater. So I did a few plays there, but I also did some assistant directing and some sound stuff and lights and
so you got the
stage
on
managing.
Stage and behind the scenes.
Anything I could do to be involved with them,
Nice.
I did, because they're amazing people.
Where's home?
Idaho Falls, Idaho.
Oh, okay. That's right. We talked about this. You're
Yeah, that's
one of the random people coming from Idaho.
Yep.
One of, because
there is another guy, Sam.
Yeah.
I forget his last name.
Sam Lounsbury.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Who
I
was
met
on
him
the
at
show
Victor.
recently. So it's just funny.
Two
like,
Idahoans on your show. That's
yeah. Well, there's also 2 Brighties in the school, so that we're just batting
Bridie.
for
It's
1,000.
an interesting name. I've never heard of anyone named Bridie,
And then there's 2.
but there's 2 of them
with
here.
2 different spellings too.
Yeah.
Just so we've got all the bases covered.
I wouldn't
with
know
it.
how to spell it but I've met one of the Bridies.
Which
She's great.
And
I saw her short film about turquoise.
okay,
things. She went
that was
home
Bridie
and-
Drosovic. That was she was actually the first guest on the show, but she's in my cohort.
She's very cool.
And then Bridie Hicks is also still around, so you'll potentially meet her at some
I'll
point
meet
in
Bridie
time.
Hicks. I've heard of her. I've heard
she
good
is
things.
a delight. But so what stuff are you working on right now? You're still in term 1.
Yeah.
What classes are you in?
Well, we're doing a lot of writing for Kat O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
She's very cool. Right now I'm just writing basically the story I just told you.
Yeah.
About a theater. Well, the theater's been there forever.
Mm-hmm.
But in my story, the theater just moved into town because they were like a traveling theater. And it's sort of an upset in this like very conservative town.
Mm-hmm.
But it's mostly about one girl based on myself.
Conveniently.
Yeah. Who kind of joins that and has to keep it from her conservative peers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a
Based on loosely, it's not that loose. I mean, it's based on true.
yeah. Did
experiences,
you
yeah.
hide that you were doing theater?
No.
Okay, so that's the
Yeah, that's the
that's
twist.
based on,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a very large Mormon community there, so
Interesting.
yeah, and I grew up on that. So, this character is Mormon
Mm-hmm.
and is doing some things in this theater that are not necessarily supported by the Mormon Church.
Okay. Interesting. That makes some sense. Trying to figure out like
you should read it. Yeah. I'll film it.
is
and
it
it'll
what's
be
the is it a short or a feature?
It's a
pilot?
series,
It's a
series pilot. Yeah.
Okay. And is that what you're hoping to do for like your final written project or
It would be cool. I don't know. They've been talking a lot about working from abundance, so
Mhm.
I'd like to work on it. I've written some of the script, but yeah, I'd like to explore some
Mhm.
other ideas too. Although I am excited about this one.
Yeah. Have you shot anything you've written yet?
I wrote it was sort of a parody of reality TV
Mm-hmm.
about my sister and I receiving our coffee table like in the mail.
Okay. Was this your
And,
nonfiction?
Yes,
Okay.
the humorous nonfiction for Vince, yeah. And it was fine. We still have to do a final cut of that.
The table was fine or the film was fine?
The table's great. It's a great table. Film is fine.
Table's great. Film was fine.
Yeah.
Have you, when you were doing stuff with your sister way back when, who was actually like doing the back end production, the editing, and that sort of thing?
She was.
Okay. So was she doing that for the one that you just shot, or have you?
No,
been learning that?
I've been learning that. I did pretty much everything. I wrote a part in for her, which was totally out of character for her.
Okay.
She had to do a lot of yelling, and that's not her at all. But that's what was funny about it to me.
That happened. Broad City. They're effectively playing one another's real life personalities. Apparently,
I haven't seen Broad City. Everybody's telling me to watch that.
yeah.
So I need to.
Apparently, Abby Jacobson, who plays kind of a little bit more withheld character between the two of them, and Alana, who's kind of just balls to the wall, like, are opposites. Like Alana kind of grew up the
Oh, really?
kind of conservative one, and then Abby was kind of the hellion. And so they're effectively playing each other in the show.
I need
like-
to watch that.
Yeah.
These references are. I'm not getting them, but I understand the concept.
Did you watch a lot of stuff coming up, or?
I mean, we exclusively watch comedy.
Yeah.
So I've rewatched we have like a cycle. So it's like The Office, and then Parks and Recreation, and then That 70s Show, Arrested Development, and 30 Rock. 30 Rock mainly. 30 Rock is my jam.
Did you ever get into Community?
No, I
Community
saw
is my
a couple
favorite.
Episodes of Community. My mom really likes Community.
It is, especially if you go back to episode 1 and see, because it's like Arrested Development, where there's like jokes that are planted in season 1 and come up like 2 seasons later. And just repeat over and over again. I love stuff like that.
Me too.
Because you can watch it later on and it generally makes sense, but if you watch it from the beginning, like it's every episode's just layered so much more
I'll
that
watch
you can
Community.
get into.
I need it. I have a lot of things I need to watch. That's all that's happened. I've been getting so many recommendations since I've been here.
I felt like that's all I did last year was just watch movies and TV shows. So much.
I know. I do that constantly, but it's just the same stuff I've already seen.
Oh, okay. You're one of those like
I'm
watch
one of
West
those.
Wing for the 14th time
Yes.
people. Yeah. I think I've gotten through West Wing twice total.
West Wing. I
total.
haven't seen West Wing. It's
But
not in my rotation.
You're doing it for The Office.
I love The Office and 30 Rock. 30 Rock is my main.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can quote specific episodes, that sort of
Absolutely.
thing. Yeah. So like the Fun Cooker episode.
Fun Cooker. Yes.
Written by Donald Glover.
Really?
Yeah. That was
The Bite Nuker.
yeah. It was right before he got on Community as Troy on Community.
Wow.
Yeah. But he was a writer on I can't remember. I've heard some interview where he was talking about the
Yeah.
etymology.
I heard-
It wouldn't be etymology. Path
don't know.
that he took to get to that point.
Yeah. He owes a lot of his success to Tina Fey, I think.
Yeah.
His words. That's what I read or heard. I don't know.
That's fair. I'm sure a lot of people owe their success to her.
Yeah, I know.
She's kind of there's a few people like that. There's the, Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Judd Apatow that just are kind of kingmakers to a certain extent, that like whoever they put forward will just generally do fairly well.
Yeah.
But so what's your end goal out of all this? Are you trying to come out and be the production duo with your sister and be the next who are the brothers? Not the Duffer Brothers. The two guys who do all the mumblecore films.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm blanking. They did like Your Safety Not Guaranteed and stuff like that. It'll come to me. I'm terrible with names, so
basic concept. Yeah, I mean the dream kind of was always that Taylor and I would be on Saturday Night Live. She would be writing and I would be on stage.
Okay. Has there ever been like brother, sister, anything like that that's on
I don't
for
know.
SNL?
I don't know.
I know lots of like high school friends, like the Lonely Island guys were like high school friends that
They're
came
amazing.
up together. But yeah, I'm wondering
I don't know.
if there's
Well, we went to the SNL experience at the Museum of Broadcast Communications last night.
Yeah,
And we met Bobby Moynihan. It was like the coolest thing ever.
I saw that. I saw the pictures you posted.
It was so cool.
You said
amazing.
he cried like
He
6
cried.
times during
He's
this.
so nice. He's like just a regular emotional guy, and he was
Yeah.
like, he was just talking about what it was like to be on SNL, and he just loved it so much. It was really touching. I really loved it.
What was he talking about?
He talked a lot about Drunk Uncle and how that came about. Apparently,
Is that based on like his real life, or
no? So apparently, when you get on SNL, they ask you to like give a list of characters that you already have, so that if you do those on the show, you can make money off of that and like merchandising and stuff.
Right.
So he just wrote like 100 character names that he just came up with on the spot, just like that,
Without knowing what the
without-
character was behind him.
Right. So he wrote down Drunk Uncle, and he said it was just one night he and Colin Jost were trying to write something for Update, and he was like, well, I used to do this thing where I pretend like I was drunk, and Colin's just like, yeah, okay. And he's like, yeah, and I wrote this down, Drunk Uncle. And so, I don't know. And he said he had written another sketch that was supposed to go on that night that just completely bombed. So he's like, well, guess that's it for my career. But so at least I have this Drunk Uncle thing I'm going to do on Update later. And then he did it, and then it was a huge success.
It's so sad how like one sketch can seemingly like make or break people on that show. Because
I
there's
know.
so many stories of, I mean, because there's a lot of big names that have like just in and out the door there, like Sarah
Yeah.
Silverman and Ben Stiller and like that have just been one and done. Robert Downey Jr. At SNL, and then moved on to still have amazing careers. But it's like, yeah, you couldn't get on.
And people that have even auditioned. He said he auditioned with who was it? Jordan Peele and Donald Glover.
Yeah,
they all auditioned at the same time.
Have you asked, or has Rachel talked at all? You have Rachel Mason. Yeah,
she's amazing.
Has she talked at all about auditioning?
No, and I'm trying to get it out of her. She's playing hard to get with me with all these stories. I know that she has an amazing life, and I just want to hear her stories. I'd love to have a podcast with her. I'd listen to that.
She's on.
She is?
Yeah, she's been on a past episode.
Oh my gosh!
Of course, I talked to Rachel. Why would I not talk to Rachel?
I need some digging into this podcast history.
So far, I've had Rachel, Kat, and Dale have all been on, and Terrence have all been on.
Oh man, Dale and Terrence, I haven't had them. Are they session 2?
Well, so for us, we came in and there were 2 cohorts at the same time. So one group had Dale and one group had Vince. So we had Dale term 1 and then had Vince term 2. I think for your class, you're going the same way Magenta did. I think you get Dale either term 2. You for sure will get him term 3. Okay. And then Terrence, Terrence takes over from Kat. And Terrence is he's a gear shift from Kat. Like Kat's very much like, do it, go get here's 1,000 different things to compile into what you're creating. And Terrence is like, so go off in a corner and write. All right, bring in 10 pages. Cool. All right, now go to 10 more pages. Cool. Okay. And so it's kind of like revving up the motor with Kat, and then just spilling into Terrence of just like, all right, hit the ground running. Here's exciting. All the track in front of you.
I like that.
Yeah. So if you come up with a handful of ideas, Kat did the like the 10 ideas a week thing. Have you kept up with that at all?
No.
Have you tried? Did you try for any length of time?
Should I be honest or?
Yeah, be honest.
No, I have not. It's I found it helpful in her class. We just did a whole bunch of lists like on the first day, and I refer back to those a lot.
Yeah.
So I probably should, but no, I haven't.
I did the same thing because I made a list and I kept up with it for I think 4 weeks, and then sputtered out, but that list became like 75% of what I produced over the course of the term was stuff that was on that list from week 1. I should do that. It's one of those things I created it, but I need to go back and now refill it because I've emptied out a lot of stuff from there, either from my projects or for other people's projects, like just siphoned to dry. But yeah, I asked you what you and your sister you wanted to become the production duo.
Yeah.
So what's the end goal?
Oh, I mean, yeah. We went to the SNL museum.
Yeah.
And we took a picture for our family. They had like the Weekend Update set up there in like a desk, and it was like an exact replica. So we like sat in the chair and like took a picture of us because we always said that we were going to be like a sister duo hosting Update.
Yeah. Okay.
On SNL. So that's kind of always been the thing. But I don't know. Since I've been here, I've been kind of branching out from that idea. The end goal was kind of always Saturday Night Live, but I'd love to be making movies with her, and she thinks she's not a good actress, but I like seeing her on the screen, so it would be fun to write something together and then just do it, or like have a show where we are on it and also writing it. I don't know. It'd be fun. That's what I would like to do.
SNL seems very difficult to get onto, but for a lot of people it also just seems like a stop along the way.
Yeah.
Whereas I know a lot of people that are like, oh, SNL would be the dream. And it's like, okay, but then what after that?
Yeah.
Not everybody's going to be Tim Meadows and stick around for like 11 seasons. Or Kenan Thompson. Or Daryl Hammond, where he sticks around forever and then comes back as the announcer afterwards, not everybody gets to do that. So it's always like you got to figure out what else you can do to go along with it.
Yeah. I haven't thought that far ahead.
I'm just depressing you.
Once I'm on SNL, then I can figure out what I'm going to do after.
So what are your what's your class like in general? Like, what's Violet? Because I haven't.
Violet.
You're my first Violet guest.
Yes, exciting.
And I'm curious about your cohort and how the dynamics work with it.
They are mysterious.
Okay.
But they are incredible people.
Mm-hmm.
All of them are amazing and very unique. It would not be the same without one person.
Yeah.
We kind of have the reputation of being the quiet cohort.
All right. I feel like they tell everybody that because that was our class.
Oh,
that was
really?
Cyan. Yeah, Cyan was the quiet cohort.
Well, compared to Yellow, we
Yeah.
are the quiet cohort.
Okay, well, Yellow, yes, but that's
Yellow's
a little,
out there.
They're kind of bombastic compared to most others.
They're great, though. I love everybody in Yellow. But compared to Yellow, with all the teachers just had them, we are pretty quiet. And I've heard we're mean, but I don't think we're mean. I think that we're
To one another, or
no, not to. Actually, there was a thing that happened early on where, like, one of the teachers told us that we seemed like we're splitting into like cliques or like factions, and we all were like, we got together, all of us afterwards, and we're like, what are they talking about? Like, I don't understand where this is coming from. But I think it brought us closer.
Yeah.
Like, we were all like, well, no, we're not doing that, and we're going to prove them wrong. But
do you have Gary Fox right now?
No.
Okay. That seems like something Gary Fox would make an observation on. Who was the teacher that said that?
It was Kimmy. It was in our improv.
Oh, interesting.
You know what,
Okay.
though? I think it was because we're not a big improv group.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few of us that enjoy doing improv. So a lot of us
Which is
would
why
just
you all came to an
sit
improv
back
school.
Right. I like improv.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorites, but a lot of people just like to sit back during improv and kind of go into their own shells. But also, I think it's brought a lot of people out of their shells. So
Yeah.
I think it's really good, and I think it's been really helpful for us. But a lot of people don't like it.
Had you done improv before coming here?
No. And I mean, we used to play like some improv games in high school, and I was always terrible at them. But I was excited to learn how to do improv, so I've been trying to. I've been taking everything into consideration when it comes to what our improv teachers are telling us.
Yeah.
But I think it's really fun.
Yeah.
And I love everybody in Violet. They are so amazing, and we've started doing this thing we like to call nice roasting. So we go out on Friday nights after our long classes with Mossman and directing because we've just had the longest day of our lives. And we go out and we just get drunk and nice roast each other. And it's been coined, and it's...
What is a nice is it just complimenting each other?
We just go around, everybody that's at the table, and we just say, okay, now we're going to nice roast Tamika. And then we all say nice things about Tamika. And then we all cry, and then we move on to the next person.
So I see why you got along with Bobby Moynihan.
Yes. He's amazing. He's amazing.
You could just nice roast him for an evening.
I could nice roast anyone for any amount of time.
I want to hear a podcast about nice roasting.
I would love... Oh, that's a great idea. Just have people on, and all I do is just nice roast them, and then we get them crying.
I feel like it would be the most uncomfortable thing to be a guest on. Like,
it would.
Coming from someone, I have a tough time like taking compliments just the right way.
Yeah, I don't like being nice roasted, but I love nice roasting other people.
Other people.
I love nice roasting people.
What's your topics that come up for you when you get nice roasted?
They say I'm nice.
That's
Morgan, you're so nice. Yes, well, which
is why you like nice roasting people.
This is for me. I'm being nice because I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I love nice roasting.
So when you submitted for the school, what did you use for your submission stuff?
Good question.
Thank you.
I submitted so my cover letter video was me in the theater I was talking about earlier. and I wrote a script for all the people in the theater, and they all were just kind of acting like assholes to me, and I was sort of just like taking it, and then at the end it was me like pleading to get out of there, like, please take me to Chicago, I can't be here anymore. And then my essay was about I did the prompt. The option was write an essay about like a movie that has inspired you.
Okay.
And it was completely satirical. It was about Mac and Me. I don't know if you've seen Mac and Me.
I've seen Mac and Me.
It's a terrible movie.
Where did I watch Mac? It's on the season of Mystery Science Theater 3000. They
I don't know what that is.
Oh. Another thing that you'll have to watch.
I know.
No, they actually, so it's the premise is this guy is out in space and gets trapped by this evil like pair, this evil guy and woman that are mining him for like invention ideas, and so he makes all these robot friends to like keep him sane, and they're forced to watch terrible movies as ways of
and Mac and Me was on there. Wow.
And Mac and Me was one of the movies from the Gauntlet, which was the most recent ones. They're all on like the new ones are all on Netflix.
Okay, I need to watch that.
But,
yeah, Mac and Me is considered like one of the worst movies of all time.
It's pretty awful. Yeah.
It is bad. And so yeah, my essay was I was saying, oh, this is one of the most influential movies of the 20th century, and it had like a budget of like $10 million, comparing it to other movies like, or 11 million or 12 maybe, I forget.
Yeah.
But it's E.T.
Yeah.
But E.T. had a smaller budget, and it made, okay. Don't get me started on Mac and Me. The director and the guy that wrote it, they were like, they had already hired a crew without any story. And they got McDonald's as a sponsor before there was a story. And they're like, okay, we need you to direct this thing. And he's like, okay, I'll direct it. And they're like, also...
Is that why it's Mac and Me? McDonald's?
Yeah. Oh, no. Mac stands for Mysterious Alien Creature.
Okay. I didn't know if it was Big Mac, if they were going for...
No. It could have been. But no, they have that big dance number in McDonald's. And it's insane. He did an interview, and I quoted him on this interview a lot in my essay, and he said he locked himself in a hotel room and just turned on E.T. and wrote the script for Mac and Me while he was watching E.T. And they were like, well, it is E.T. And he's like, well, everything's derivative of something. Like, well, write your own thing. It's terrible, but that was what my essay was about. My work sample was 5 pages of a pilot that I wrote about a barber whose entire family and extended family explodes at a family reunion that he was not invited to.
Like, wait, is just spontaneous human
explode.
combustion? Or
yeah, I haven't worked out the whole exploding part yet. But
you submitted this. You worked something out.
They explode. That's what we know.
Yeah,
they exploded.
All right.
And this kooky lawyer comes in to tell him that he's his family's exploded and he inherited all this money from them, and but also he loses his job as a barber because he cut off somebody's ear while he was being told that his family exploded. And then he goes home to his fiancée, who is having sex with another man on their kitchen table, and so basically he has nothing but like $17 billion, and he meets these 2 hippies on the street who are trying to travel around and sell their screenplay. And that's what it's about. The script is probably better than the description I just gave, but I like it.
Have you developed it any further? Or is it just the pilot?
Just the pilot. I'll probably work on it sometime, maybe in session 2. I don't know, but
eventually they'll, in the term 3, you'll go through a production class and they'll have you produce a production slate. And it's interesting because that gives you it keeps that stuff from falling through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because you'll end up having to put everything that you're currently thinking about or working on in any way, shape, or form all on there at once.
Oh, wow.
And so you can easily go back to it. If you ever feel like stagnant on something, you can just shift gears to something else and work on that for a while.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
But you'll get to it. It hasn't happened yet. You're still in the ramping up stage where they told you about the diamond shape thing.
Diamond on like a mountain or something.
Diamond on a mountain.
That's what Jack told us. He like drew it out on a whiteboard, like a diamond, and then he's like, but also there's a mountain, and it's on the top of the mountain, but you have to climb the mountain, and then the workload gets wider, and it was a confusing analogy.
Jack, I hope you're listening to this.
It was.
I guess I get that. Like
the diamond thing makes sense.
The diamond thing it does. Like term 2 is where you're doing the most work, and I bet it's going to be that way for you all too, because you're going to be on Yellow's like sets for their final films,
which is exciting.
In addition to doing your own term 2 projects, and because that's how it was for us. Like we were on Orange and Red, we were on all their sets, and so like term 2 was insane. Just a ton of shit going on all at once.
Great. I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I mean, I'm having a great time.
Good.
This is like, and just being in this building, I was like so happy to be here. Just because I've idolized this place for so long, and just I spend a lot of time here. Yeah. Just because I think
everybody does.
The atmosphere.
I've
and
graduated. I'm still here at least like 2 or 3 nights a week.
It's great. I love it. I honestly love it. And all the people, too. I mean, there's not anyone here that I dislike. Everybody has been so amazing.
Yeah. Well, sweet. Well, wrapping up, where can people track you down if they want to follow you on social media, see the stuff that you're working on?
Gosh. I mean, I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
Morgan Nadauld. I'm on Instagram. Same. It's just Morgan Nadauld.
See, that's
Morgan
the convenience of having a unique name.
I know, it's
you can
nice.
Go brand it for everything. Do you have morgannadauld.com?
I don't. I should probably get on that.
You should get it before this posts.
Yeah.
Otherwise
Okay.
somebody's going to buy it and squat
find me on
it.
morgannadauld.com up now.
This is going up tomorrow,
by the time
so
you're gonna
you're gonna need to build that site pretty quickly.
Okay, up 1 hour ago.
Is your sister and yours? Is your past stuff on YouTube anywhere? Do you have a channel or anything?
Actually, this will be fun. This will be fun. Go search T&J Dating Services.
Okay.
It is a YouTube channel that my sister made, and it's all of her old. It's bad, but it's entertaining. So I would encourage you to watch that.
T&J Dating Services.
T&J Dating. Awesome. TNJ Dating Services.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
And that was Morgan Nadauld. Thank you to Morgan and to the Harold Ramis Film School and the Second City staff for their help. The song on this week's episode was In My Dreams by Cathy D off her new EP, Nostalgiaddict. Find it now on iTunes and Spotify. This show is recorded and edited by me, Tony Lazzeroni. If you want to hear more from me and my classmates, teachers, and a few special guests, make sure to subscribe to the podcast. If you have questions or comments, send us an email at filmstudentpod@gmail.com or find us on Twitter and Instagram at filmstudentpod. And be sure to check out some of my and my classmates' work at filmstudentpod.com, where you can also find links to all of our past episodes. See you all next week. Class dismissed.